Nearly 80% of women will face a significant health challenge at some point in their lives. Yet, so many of these conversations remain shrouded in silence and stigma. Imagine navigating the complexities of womanhood, its milestones, its mysteries, with the knowledge and guidance you need. Welcome to Wellness Tank, where today we break that silence. In this episode, we'll uncover the hidden truths behind the challenges women face, debunk myths, and explore how the choices we make every day can either harm or heal our bodies. Whether you're curious about maintaining balance, understanding your body better, or seeking advice for the different stages of a woman's life, this discussion is for you. This isn't just another talk. It's an essential conversation that could change the way you think about your health. So, stay with us as we dive into the world of women's wellness, right here on Wellness Tank.
The next thing I would focus on breast cancer.
Yes.
And how
Hot topic.
breast cancer is another area where early detection can save lives. And many women still don't know how to perform a self-examination of themselves. Why is it so crucial to examine yourself and encourage more women to make this a regular practice? Can you tell me more about it?
Yes, definitely. Now this is the hot topic because breast cancer is again becoming a very frequent finding,
Right.
and it is treatable, and survival rate is quite high. You can detect early, treat early, and the survival rate is quite high in this case. So you should go to gynecologist and get trained by to yourself to self-examine.
Okay.
So by you yourself only understand many a times ki if there is change in color or the texture of your skin of your breast, then you can go and get biopsy done and get it.
I would like to just add,
Yeah.
I would just like to question. Change in color of what you are saying? Breast
tissue.
nipple?
Nipple also, and the tissue also.
Okay.
But the breast as a whole. Or
No, because most of, even if there is a lump, most of the time you will find a lump, but then women will just neglect it, gata liye, just leave it, that kind of, but they don't understand the intensity, like how that lump, whatever the type of the lump, can lead to a cancer. So can you just give me an insight on that?
Actually, once you find there is a lump, you should go to a gynecologist, get
Right.
it checked, get it confirmed, and get a mammogram done. That is basic investigations we require. A mammogram is an X-ray of the breast, where we can come to know what kind of lump is there and till which grade it is. So depending on that, you come to the you can treat. First of all, you just don't go for the surgery. You first take the biopsy of the lump. That is called FNAC, the fine needle aspiration cytology. It is a OPD procedure again. And with that report, you come to the decision to what kind of treatment
Needs
you need
to be
to
there,
be done.
depending
Yeah.
upon the
Yeah,
lump
yeah,
type.
yeah.
And so that's what I would suggest, like pap smear. I think mammography is a very important procedure, which should not only be related till the time you find a lump in your breast, that you go in for a mammography. So how often do you suggest that every woman should go in for a mammography after 30?
No, not really. After 40 also you can.
Okay.
If you have a family history
Right.
of
Cancer, breast
breast
cancer.
cancer, then you should do it regularly, every yearly rather. And if you are on hormonal pills for your
OC pills.
Not OC pills, this hormone replacement therapy,
HRT.
HRT. If for that you have to get it done. Every yearly you should get it done.
So HRT, I think during menopause we suggest
Yes,
HRT.
yes.
So after menopause or during menopause you are suggesting that
Depending on the symptoms. you
okay,
take
so
it to
after
the-
40 basically you suggest that we go in for a mammography
Yes,
yearly.
Yes.
Okay, great. The next topic I would like to come to is menorrhagia and anemia, which is so interconnected,
Connected.
but it is often not taken care of. So means people don't understand only that why I'm having low HB or why I'm not getting whatever. The menstruation is associated with your hemoglobin levels that many of us don't know. So can you tell us more
Yes.
about it?
in India, 99% almost, please correct me if I'm wrong, are anemic.
Right.
Females.
Right.
The reason behind is because they get menses every month. Okay, and that is for 5 days. Then that is your normal menses. Okay, but if more than that, then you call it as a menorrhagia. If blood flow is more, or your clots are more, or the duration is more. So either of this, if you get more, then this is called as a menorrhagia. So there is one thing called as puberty menorrhagia as well.
Okay.
Because when you start your menses, that time also there are chances of you getting more time of periods, or more quantity of the periods. That you cannot you have to diagnose and you have to treat. Not with the hormones, but what are the pills you are getting, the tranexamic acid.
Right. Just to comfort your dysmenorrhea.
Yeah. Dysmenorrhea also, and reduce your blood loss as well.
Right.
Both the things. If it is more blood loss, then you might need to add some small progesterone level, very mild one.
Okay.
So that one you can start. And in reproductive age group, if menorrhagia is there are many reasons. The one is that uterine fibroid is there, then uterine polyp is there. Or one of the reasons, the way we talked about cervical cancer, it could be one of the reasons for menorrhagia. And then depending on the reason, you can treat it. And in postmenopausal female, there are chances of this endometrial cancer are more. With the patients present with menorrhagia, then you need to investigate it thoroughly.
Okay.
Because one of the reasons is endometrial cancer.
So you suggest that you can't neglect menorrhagia, because many feel, okay, maybe I'm stressed out, that's the reason I'm bleeding more, or maybe I have thyroid. The most common thing they do is get their thyroid check rather than this may be the cause which is associated with my menorrhagia or irregular menses. So I think they should know that. And for anemia, then we need to, I think, give them supplements regularly.
Yes, of course, absolutely. Because depending on the anemia you have, mainly it is iron deficiency anemia because of low level of hemoglobin.
Right.
But not only hemoglobin, but you can deplete it with the B12 level as well.
Okay.
So we have to correlate that, and depending on which deficit you are suffering from, we have to give the medicines.
I'd like to know more about nutrition and body image. I think it's a double-edged sword. Nutrition and body image, it's two sides of a same coin, I feel. But both can be incredibly tricky to navigate. In a country where cultural norms around food are so strong, how do we help women find a healthy balance without falling into the trap of unrealistic body standards? They'll go for crash diets and all these things. They feel they're overweight, or so many things which are associated with it. So can you just give me some
insight of it? Yeah, I would like to speak on this, because see, it's basically in your mind. You're overweight, you're underweight, whatever it is, and the way you think, that way you eat, and the people around you make you feel. So I think it's not necessary to eat whatever we're eating, your family and where you are born. What is grown the crop, that is the best for you, because genetically you are inclined to that only. So you should eat the balanced diet and should do exercise. I'll again repeat that, the same thing, the way of repeating. The exercise is the key to your good mental as well as physical health. And it doesn't matter if you are overweight or underweight. How healthy you are, that matters a lot. And I think this is to be understood by everywhere, because as we are believe and we follow the family values, and the same here also, the family has to play a very crucial role for the female and male even, I would say. Because see, she is the person, your mother, your daughter, any female in your house, will be taking care of the whole family, I would say. You will think that am I feminist or something, but this is the thing that
because I think your whole life is around
a female only.
No matter what relationship you have with either it's your mother, your sister, your wife, your daughter. But I think the proper nutrition she gets, a healthy diet she gets, will nourish her whole body and her mind. She can be trained, or you are preparing her to take care of some other family later. So I think it's very important that you take care of her nutrition first. so that if she is happy with her own body, I feel, then only she can give that happiness and
To
show
others.
that happiness
Exactly.
in the family. If you keep on, because I see so many obese women, we have a different ideology, I think, especially men or whatever, the social norms, as you say, that, my wife should be ideal, she should be thin, slim, and so that's a pressure. And if you have so many reasons now, you have hormonal imbalances, you have thyroid, so many things which will add on to your obesity, and then you get into that shell, you have that inferior complex that I'm overweight, and so many things, you're stressed out because of it, and it PCOD and everything, it will just add on to it because your stress levels are so high.
That's what I'm telling you. Ki more than the physical health, mental
Mental
health is the most important. And what you feed her as a family, that does make a lot of difference. Because see, everybody eats the food only, but the what you get mentally in a family, that matters a lot. Yeah, come on, like.
Right.
So what I say now, as a female, we don't take care of us. That's why we came to when we talk about anemia.
Right.
The same thing was happening. Again, the childbearing, same thing happened. Here, I all the time I'm just telling you that the family has to take care of everything. Only she cannot do it, because you are preparing her for the next generation to take care. Then how much importance you give it to her needs, mental
Right.
as well as physical.
Mhm.
Yeah. So the same, like balanced diet and physical exercise are the keys to a successful life as well as future.
There's, I think, something which we need to take care about is healthcare, which is a fundamental right of every person. But a woman is, especially in a rural India, is kept away from it. She doesn't know her basic rights. That why do you think there is such a big gap? Not getting what she wants through the society, and they don't feel that it is important for her to know it also.
See, again, the same thing happens, the mental health and education, because education gives you the key towards healthy life, as well as
Confident.
successful life,
Living.
as well as confident life. Absolutely. So if you educate a female, your society will grow like anything, Then there is no need only here again, though you are talking about the cleanliness or whatever
Right,
things,
right.
So those are the things you learn when you are educated, because education, a simple thing I want to ask anybody, before having your food, you have to wash your hands.
Right.
That's a simple thing. Okay, for that you have to have education, little bit education you need to have, because see, a mother tells a child, okay, while having your food, please wash your hands and then sit for the for your lunch,
Having
dinner,
a food,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe awareness, as you say.
Awareness.
Not only education, but awareness.
Yeah, that is there. Awareness is the main thing, but that comes with the education.
Right.
As far as my concern is there,
Okay.
Absolutely. So education compulsory. What happens in the rural area and urban area? Urban area is you have more you have more opportunities for the education to talk to people. People do talk about the cleanliness, the healthy
Hygiene,
habits,
right.
hygiene, and everything. Whereas in rural area, there are people who do take care of that, but the education doesn't reach to that level. Definitely, that I see.
I'll come to my last question, I guess now. The mental load, stress, and burnout among Indians. We often talk about stress, but I feel like we don't talk enough about how it really affects a woman, especially here. The mental load of balancing work, family, personal life is intense. What's the real cost of this stress on a woman's health altogether?
One thing I tell you, my experience when I was doing post-graduation in BJ Medical College, Pune. In my first, this was an experience that when the child is born, if there is a stressful labor, stressful delivery, and if a male baby is born and a female baby is born, if female baby is born, there are more chances of her to survive.
Right.
Because genes
Adapted.
and the genes are developed like that, and this is not
Fact.
I'm taking.
Yeah,
This
it's
is
a fact.
This is the fact, because you have seen, and you must have also
Yes,
seen
yes.
many a times.
Yes.
Because if a male is born, you have to literally make him survive. Whereas female also, we have to, but with less effort she survives.
Right.
So this is in genes, and that affects everywhere,
In every aspect,
every aspect of her life, like from the education, from the study, and this your menstrual pattern, then the like whole health of like we talked about each and every aspect of our health, right? Like anemia, menopause, menorrhagia, what not we talk, PCOD. So all this is related to stress, except menopause. When menopause comes because of the hormonal imbalance. Actually, that is going to because of hormonal imbalance, the stress comes, right? But we have to take care of the things. If you take care, there is now need to worry about that thing. Just you take care of her mental health, and she is completely fine.
You means who?
You means your family.
Yeah, exactly. That's what
You
I
means
wanted
your
to
family.
tell
That's
you.
everywhere here. Now there's a whole
Yeah.
discussion. I'm talking about the family,
Right.
not in the spouse, but the family as well.
I would like to talk about the most important thing now, that is stress and burnout among Indian women. We often talk about stress, but I feel like we don't talk enough about how it really affects a woman, especially here in India. A mental load of balancing work, your family, your personal life is so intense. What's the real cost of this stress on a woman's health? I mean, so many things are associated with stress. Can you just give us more information regarding this?
Now, stress, stress starts from your birth, first of all. Then, when you enter in a puberty, then the stress of menses comes. Then when you're married, then stress of child bearing
Family,
comes.
yeah.
Family. Then after that, you get menopause, and then the stress continues. Okay, but now along with this, see, we
So
talked
many
about
diseases associated with stress.
Exactly.
Hypertension, diabetes, PCOD, anxiety, depression, eczema. Then you have insomnia. So I think if that thing is removed or you take care of the stress, so many things you can avoid.
Yes. See, I tell you one thing. Now you perfectly told that hypertension, diabetes, these are the not only the diseases of the male, but the female as well, and that naturally comes because of the stress. But here, one more thing I would like to add: the way I was talking about the infertility,
Right.
then the stress is a major
factor.
factor, because I have seen in my practice that when you are stressed, if you want to conceive, okay, for example, if I want to conceive, then you have that stress, whether I'll conceive or not. I mean, that stress is there. Because of the stress, again the hormonal changes happen in your body, and you conceive or don't conceive.
The ovulation is
Ovulation,
affected,
exactly.
right.
So the thing that is a vicious cycle. So if you stop the stress, then the things run very smoothly. Because female is a human being, first of all. So whatever affects the male affects the female as well. Plus these 2-3 things are more. Like PCOD comes with the stress. Infertility comes with the stress. So we have to just take care of the stress, and there is the things all sorted out sort of that way.
Take care of stress means, I think, the family, as we are speaking of it right from the first question, I think, or discussion,
Yes.
that it's like everybody needs to take care of the woman in the house. If the woman in your house is healthy and fit mentally and physically, she can take proper care of you, and which is needed, I think.
Yes.
So our main focus, I think, or our main message to our viewers would be, take care of the female in your life, whoever it is. I mean, that must be your mother, your wife, your daughter, anybody, but just take care of her. She needs your support, and I think your life will be more happy and effective when the woman in the house is being taken care of.
One thing only I like to add here: if you want your woman of the house to take care of the house or you yourself, then you take care of her.
Right.
It's
a give and take relationship.
Yeah, sort of. Actually, she doesn't need anything. I just take care of her. That's all.
Yes. Basic needs.
Basic needs
to be taken care of.
Yes.
So I think we have come to the end of our discussion, Dr. Anuradha. Thank you so much for your valuable time and the insights you have shared about so many things. And I think it will be very beneficial to our viewers. You have highlighted on cancer, breast cancer, cervical cancer, PCOD, infertility, menopause, menorrhagia. So it's very nice that you have given us such a good information. And I would just like to say that, as I said, just take care of the woman in your house and everything just sets in place. Would you like to say something?
Yes, definitely. And I'm very delighted and very obliged. I'm very happy to come here and to talk with you, because after so many, the show has given me the opportunity to talk to you,
Yes.
meet you,
Yes.
and talk about my favorite subject
Exactly.
on the femalehood, as such, I would like to say. And I'm very happy. And being a female, I would say, females should rock.
Yes, yes.
Thanks.
And
Thanks for calling me.
thank you.